All right, so here we are back at forgiveness one more time, maybe for the last time. Maybe if we get it right, we never have to talk about this again. Nah, we will. So Edwin Gaines' book, The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, is about unblocking the blockage to the flow that is the goodness of God. So in here, as you know, we practice this idea that life is always conspiring for our greater good. There is no God who demands our suffering or our sadness or our sacrifices, that there is only this abundance of everything. And Edwin talks about that prosperity is not about money. It's not about what's in your checkbook. It's about life being enough of everything, enough love, enough community, enough money to do what you need to do and want to do. So if the universe is always conspiring for our good, what happens when our good is coming to us is that it hits a roadblock that says no trespassing here. Because when there is no flow, there is no flow. So when she talks four spiritual principles, which we've covered, this will be the third one. We covered setting goals. You have to tell the universe what you want. So the universe is going, what do you want? What do you want? And you go, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, let me know when you know. So in setting goals, not only do we decide what we want, but then we have to dedicate ourselves to it, commit to it, take the step towards accomplishing it. And if we do that, then the roadblock is gone. Her second principle was tithing. Tithing specifically means 10% in historical, spiritual, biblical terms, but it really is just this action of giving to that which spiritually feeds you, whether it's an organization or a person. And again, it's a flow thing. If you are living in, I don't have enough, right? I don't have enough. And Malika shared last week, she shared about how she took the Prosperity Plus class and was said, okay, so here's your agreement to tithe 10% during the class. She goes, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I won't take the class. Well, who of us are there? 10%? Are you kidding? So out of every $10 I have, you want me to give someone or something $1? And Edwin Gaines would say, yes, that's exactly what I want you to do. Because it's a matter of trust. It's a matter of trusting that the universe is conspiring for your good and that you will have what you need when you need it in order to do that which is yours to do, which we will talk about next week, which is your divine purpose or the reason you decided to come. So, but today we want to finish this conversation about forgiveness, because forgiveness blocks the flow as well. You cannot hold resentment or anger about the past and be open to the good that is always flowing to you. If you do, it is blocked. So she says, before prosperity can expand externally, healing often must occur internally. Forgiveness clears the channel. Forgiveness helps to take down the roadblock. Because when you are not forgiving others or yourself, especially yourself, if you don't forgive yourself, you are living in a place of unworthiness. The universe cannot give you good if you don't think you deserve good. The universe can't give you money. The universe can't give you love. The universe can't give you a healthy body if you are in a space of, I do not deserve this. Do you understand? Do you get how powerful that is? So this forgiving business is really about understanding that we are, to some degree, limited in our humanity, especially in our sense of separated self. We are limited to the degree that we don't let ourselves and other people off the proverbial hook. Because how many of us here, how many of you have never made a misstep in life? Never. How many of you have only made one? Oh, good for you. So the point is that being human, and especially until we awaken to our divinity, to our essential goodness, until we expand our idea about God, this word, I know some people don't like the word, but that's only because you've been conditioned to think that somehow this word represents something not good. But the moment we say, okay, all right, I think goodness, I think whatever created the trees and the bees and the babies and the sunsets and the rivers and the oceans and the dolphins and the elephants, whatever did all that, likes me, adores you, honors you. And that connection is eternal and real. So once you get that, forgiveness becomes easier, because then in our ignorance of that, we just make mistakes. We say the wrong thing, we do the wrong thing, and it's just a matter of degree. Some people do really bad things, some people do mildly bad things, and some people do things that aren't even bad at all. But still, self-forgiveness and forgiveness is required. So, forgiveness is not about approving harmful behavior. So this is not about letting your mom off the hook, or your dad off the hook, or the ex-boyfriend off the hook, or the mean boss off the hook. It's not about saying it's all good, their behavior was good. It's not about that. It's also not about pretending that something didn't happen. Because whatever happened, happened. And there, we can do another show of hands, myself included. How many had bad things happen to them in their lifetime? Yes, everyone. Everyone. So it's not about saying those things didn't happen. It's not about becoming a doormat, like you will let yourself be walked on or mistreated or abused. It's not about that either. It is really, and it's not about abandoning healthy boundaries, because healthy boundaries says if you have somebody in your life who's not nice to you or good to you, it's a very healthy boundary to say, you know, we're just not going to have dinner next week. It's okay to, you know, my mother used to say to me, this is a true story, Denise, you can go out, you don't have to marry them. That was funnier than that. That was funny. Come on, women. She said to me, you can go on a date, you don't have to marry them. Thank you, Roger. God, a hard audience. So what forgiveness is about is releasing the energetic grip of pain in your life. It's about letting go of the pain in your soul so that you can create an easy flow with no roadblocks, so that you're not blocking the good that is always wanting to express in your life. It is an act of liberation. Who gets liberated? Who gets liberated? You get liberated. So this image is amusing in this woman's and her anger. But unforgiveness is exhausting. Unforgiveness is very bad for your body, very bad for your emotions. It narrows your capacity for joy. It keeps you stuck in the past, which all by itself is a misuse of spiritual law, because in the truth, God did not make up time. So God didn't create a calendar that has 12 months a year, and there is no time in the spiritual realm. There's only what? What is there? There's now. There's only really right this moment. And in this moment and every moment, you are at choice. Am I experiencing joy? Am I experiencing love? Am I experiencing peace? Or am I stuck on the marriage that ended 26 years ago? Or am I stuck in my fear of what's going to happen tomorrow? I call that awfulizing the future. either way, we're blocking the flow because life's going, okay, well, I have your money, I have your relationship, I have your job, but where are you? Ruminating over things that have happened or things that will happen. So, in this, I think this is actually one of the most important things here. So, which one do you want to be you? There's the angry face and the beautiful face. There's the resentful face and the peaceful face. And an angry, resentful, hateful face is unattractive. Can you, right? On anybody. I remember T.D. Jakes, Christian preacher, big guy. I heard him speak one time and he said, it doesn't matter what you look like. You could be the ugliest person alive. You could be homely, you could be too tall, too fat, too thin, you could have scars, and if you are filled with the Spirit, you will be perceived as beautiful by everyone who encounters you, because the Spirit is beautiful. I have another story about forgiveness, which is magical, in that in my career before ministry, actually, I was working at Loyola Marymount University with my favorite boss ever. We were like Paul, Lennon, and McCartney. And I hired a friend of mine to come work for us. And he ended up having an affair with her. And it kind of derailed my career. And there was a HR lawsuit. It was a terrible time for me. I was so betrayed. And because it was an HR issue, I had book boxes full of papers, right? Legal papers. And I carried around this anger for years, and sadness and grief. Well, one day I decided, well, Denise, this is really stupid. Probably once I became a minister, and probably sat in a room like this and thought, okay, what are you going to do to get rid of this? So I decided to burn the box, which is what I did. I burned the box, everything in it. I'm done with this. I'm not going to let it stop me, block me anymore. 1 week later, this is a true story. His name was Peter. Peter called me to make amends. It had been 10 years, out of the blue. So I share that story really from the standpoint of there's something magical about us taking on the role of divinity that we are. Because you are divine, you are a spiritual being. You are made in the image and likeness of good. You are here, as we'll discuss more next week, you are here with a divine purpose. You didn't come here for no reason. Life is not meaningless. Well, it is kind of meaningless in a way, but that's another topic. But life, your life has purpose. Your life has value. Your life has a reason, even if it's just to love a puppy or to raise some children or to write a book, or to sing a song. Your life has purpose and value. And resentment and unforgiveness blocks that good as well. So we want to, what do we want to do? We want to unblock the flow. Now, I love this image as well. So on the left, we have a peaceful, serene lake. And on the right, we have a raging ocean. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to live as a still lake, peace-filled, calm, quiet? Yes. Or as a raging ocean with highs and lows and ups and downs? Now, we kind of like the highs and lows and ups and downs because I actually think that in truth, we create a little bit of excitement and drama sometimes just to make it spicy. But it's different if you choose to do that than if you're just living like a raging ocean, which is really not very much fun. So as we explore, as we move into the end of the month and the completion of this conversation about the power sowing seeds of prosperity, take a look at all those areas. Take a look at how are you with giving and receiving. How are you with setting goals and sticking to them? I mean, how many of us really don't set goals because we're afraid to be disappointed, or because we're afraid we won't get what we want? And it's not how the universe works. The universe works on your consciousness, with your consciousness. There isn't anything that you cannot have, that you do not want, and are willing to commit time, energy, and resources to, emotional time, mental time, and then to actually allow all of that to flow into your life, unencumbered by the no trespassing sign you have on your life. Because when you don't forgive, when you don't take chances, when you don't let the flow of supply, I think the meditation today was God is your source. That your source comes from invisible things, not visible things. We think our life depends on our jobs, or depends on our Social Security, or depends on our 401, or depends on our husband or our wife. And your life doesn't depend on any of those things. Your life depends on you unblocking the flow so that that which is yours to have, do, and be can flow to you effortlessly and easily. Yes? Yes. 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 So, we have an affirmation that we do. Oh, no, I'm doing good. Feels like I had to fill in 5 more minutes, but I don't think so. I think we can do our affirmation together. So, how we do this. So, affirmations are very useful because, not because they're magical, but because they help to change your mind. They help you to think something different than you've always thought. They help to shift your consciousness, because life is an expression of your consciousness. That is our fundamental teaching here. Change your thinking, change your life. Change what you think and you'll change what you have. Change what you think and you'll change what you do. And you don't have to change your mind. You can keep thinking. In fact, I think it was Abraham Hicks that says, your life today is the end result of millions of thoughts that got you here. And if you don't change those thoughts, your life a year from now will be exactly the same as it is today. And then 1 more year exactly the way as it is that from then. Now, if your life is perfect and you have everything you want, all the money you can spend, all the love you can receive, all the joy, all the friends, if you have all that, ignore the basket when it comes around, and you don't have to do one more thing. I don't know very many people who live in that place, and even if you are or do, life is an upward spiral of becoming. We evolve every day, and when we stop evolving, we wither. So there isn't such a thing as, well, I'm this age now, so I don't have to learn anymore or do anymore. I don't have time, or what would be the point? That's never the case, ever. No matter how old you are, no matter where you are in life, tomorrow can always be just a little bit better than today. So I'm going to read our affirmation first, and then you're going to read it together with so much excitement and enthusiasm that it can't help but change things. So it is, I open my heart to forgiveness, making room for peace and prosperity to flow freely in my life. I know that abundance is my spiritual birthright. I choose freedom over resentment, faith over fear, and gratitude over lack. With a willing heart and calm mind, I welcome prosperity into every area of my life. Your turn. And so it is. I got it. All right, now we let God do the work. So now we slip into a moment of affirmative prayer, into claiming our good. So join me by turning within. Again, if you're comfortable in closing your outer eyes, do that, because it allows us to close the outer eyes from looking at what is. We don't care about what is. We care about what is coming. And so when we close our outer eyes, we let go of conditions, circumstances, people, places, things, the past. We just simply open our inner eyes so that we can gaze into that untainted space within us. This place, space, and dimension that is free, that is flowing, that is imbued with goodness and compassion, kindness. It is the very essence of our true self, with a capital S. And so it is in that place that we pause to recognize God, to recognize this infinite something that governs this universe, this creator that created everything, up to and including us. There has to be something. We did not create ourselves. And so whatever that something is, I know that we are intimately, eternally, infinitely, always connected to it. We are never separate or apart. And as we accept that, and accept that this presence is loving, that this presence adores us, this presence respects us, this presence counts on us, as we increase our belief in that, we let the flow happen. We stop blocking our good. And so what I know for each and every one of us in this room, that something shifts, that some blockage, some roadblock can be disintegrated today, can be lifted today, and that more and more good can flow into our lives, unencumbered by our thinking. And so, forgiving for ourselves, we let everyone off the hook, known to us, not known to us, in the news or in our neighborhood. We just let them off the hook, pouring divine love in their direction, divine peace in their direction. Because the truth is, we're all part of this web of creation, the people we like and the people we don't. And so in this, we become more peaceful, more loving, more kind, more generous human beings. And that is definitely inviting the flow of good into our lives, unencumbered. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we can have these words. I'm grateful that we can know these truths. I'm grateful that we can change. Thank God we can change, and we can become all of these things just by our intention to do so. And so with this word released, I know that the universe has said yes. The universe has said, I'm listening, and that we can leave this time of prayer expecting and accepting our good to demonstrate and be made manifest in our lives. And so please join me in accepting this for yourself wholeheartedly, like never before, by saying, and so it is, amen. Beautiful.